The Oklahoma Sooners are taking another look in the transfer portal, but this time at a position that it might kind of shock you at what they're looking at. And this comes off the heels of Oklahoma losing, and I'm not going to say losing, but they did not gain the commitments of two defensive linemen that they were looking at in the portal. But they're pretty good at that position, so not necessarily needed. And I kind of wonder the same thing here. Is this a position where you really need to take another player, or are you just trying to make up some numbers because you lost a couple at this position this transfer portal cycle? And today we got to talk about it and jump into it. I want to gather your guys' thoughts as well and see if you guys think this, because 247 Sports own Colin Kennedy submitted a prediction for Steele Wasel to end up at the University of Oklahoma. And I think it's intriguing. I want to hear from y'all. So join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Hit that like and hit the subscribe button. But Steele Wasel has received a prediction from Colin Kennedy over at 247 Sports. And as we've talked about before, you guys know when Colin Kennedy submits a prediction in favor of Oklahoma, usually that's got some pretty good meaning behind it. Like usually that comes to fruition a little bit. Like he's super plugged in with these players, and he's kind of one of those guys where he submits a prediction when he feels pretty confident that a decision should be forthcoming in favor of that school. Obviously, you have the ones like Kobe Sellers and things like that where hey, listen, when you submit them, you feel really good about it, but you got to flip them because the spots just weren't available at Oklahoma. But looking at Steele Wasel, he is a quarterback that is originally from Choctaw, Oklahoma. And when he was at Choctaw, like, he was a pretty good quarterback. Now, he played a little bit his freshman year, but his senior year was the year he really balled out. 3,325 yards his senior year, 71% completion percentage, 38 total touchdowns, 7 interceptions. On the rushing side of things, he had 51 carries for 543 yards. He had 5 touchdowns there on the ground. So, I look at it and say this is an interesting take, because if you're looking at Oklahoma's quarterback room, you had Jackson Arnold. We expected he was the starter there. You've got Casey Thompson, who came in through the transfer portal, but you also got Michael Hawkins. And you would imagine both of those two are the backup for Jackson Arnold. I think just when are they the backup depends on the time of the year that you would need them to be a backup, right? If you need him early in the year and doesn't look like Jackson Arnold will get back soon, you're probably putting in Michael Hawkins, giving him real game time reps, maybe. Or maybe you put in Casey Thompson and see just what can you get throughout the season with an experienced quarterback who's played a lot of college football. But then you look at Brandon Zerbrug, another guy that came in that class with Michael Hawkins, and you look at it and say, okay, so like he's probably your backup for the future. But outside of that, you don't have any other quarterbacks. Like Jacob Switzer hit the portal, General Booty hit the portal, and then Davis Bevel. Yeah, I almost forgot about that guy because he played a little bit against Texas, and Oklahoma fans want to forget every minute of that, just like I did. But no, so he hit the portal as well. So you lost 3 quarterbacks, 2 walk-ons, and it feels like Oklahoma is taking another quarterback for just numbers in that room, but also maybe to play a little bit of scout team, because we heard General Booty was a great scout team quarterback. But is any quarterback better than Jimmy Green Beans at the scout team quarterback position? Y'all are gonna have to jump in the comments below and let me know. But no, like, in all of the serious note, when you go and you look at Steele Wasel's film in high school, he's a guy that is a pretty good athlete, and he's a guy that I think can do multiple things for you, whether it's with his feet or through the air. Like, he's got a pretty good deep ball, and so I would be curious to see what his development was at Akron, because that's where he's transferring from. But in high school, it looks like he took visits to Virginia Tech and Oklahoma and Eugene, Oregon, although he only had 6 offers, and his biggest offer probably being from Virginia Tech. He had kind of taken his rounds, and he had visited some pretty big schools, and he's a former 3-star out of high school. So it's not anything to scoff at or kind of just say, hey, like, it didn't really matter. Like, no, like, he was a quarterback that was wanted by some schools across the country, and big schools were looking at him. He was taking visits there. So it's intriguing to see Oklahoma kind of circle back around to another OK Preps kid. And if Oklahoma lands a guy like this, I would be curious to see, does he push a guy like Brandon Zerbrug for a backup to the backup spot? Or does he push Casey Thompson or even Michael Hawkins for a backup spot to Jackson Arnold? That would be super intriguing to me to figure out and kind of see just what's going to happen. But the big news is, though, Collin Kennedy submits that prediction in favor of Oklahoma to land Steele Wasel. And I want to hear from y'all on whether you think Oklahoma is going to land him. So jump in the comments below, join the discussion. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Hey, and if you guys have made it this far and you have not already, make sure you go ahead and hit that like and you hit that subscribe button.